let's get back to some regular vlogging here. For the 350Z, I'm doing a hydraulic handbrake install on this thing. Going with the dual calipers, and I'm going to use my e-brake off of my old 240 SX. So right now I've got like everything torn apart. I got the axles ripped out, and I'm just trying to remove everything and put extended studs in and dual calipers, swap out the rotor, the pads. It's like a whole rear end job right now. The main reason I want to do the hydro e-brake is to improve my chase game when tandeming. Having that e-brake really helps you, at least from what I've seen, like get really close and make minor adjustments, and just really saved you from collisions when you're chasing closely. So that's kind of the main reason I want to do it. And then I'm probably going to leave the car pretty much like that for a while. Also, I put my toe strap from my 240 as well. So I'm just like recycling a lot of parts. Got the axles here. Here's the Brembo brakes that I had in the rear. These are pretty big compared to these stock ones here, if you see. See quite the difference. Brembo rears, tiny stocks. But the reason I'm going with stocks is my thought process is smaller rotor. I have to have two of these, so lighter weight in the rear, smaller rotors, less rotating mass, less unsprung weight. Just to try to free up as much horsepower out of this thing as I can. And you know, another huge reason I haven't sold this car yet is a couple weekends ago I was watching an auction on bringertrailer.com, and it was a 94 RX-7, same color, Montague blue, however you say it. But it was like mint condition, all original, 24,000 miles on it. It went for $77,000. I was watching the auction, and about 2 hours before the auction was over, it was only at like 58 or 57,000. And I was like, oh, I think this will go up to like, you know, 65, 70,000. No, it went to 77. It was the most expensive RX-7 sold on that auction site, and it's just crazy. It's to see these things go up and up and up in value. Now, mine obviously isn't mint condition, and it isn't super low miles like that one, and it's not all original, but still, just like the overall market for these is going up and to the right. It's not like Supra and NSX prices, right, where everything's in like the over 100 to 150K range, but we're getting there, Yeah, so for now I'm just like, man, I can't get rid of this thing. I'll never be able to get another one. And I forgot to mention, I am selling these Brembo brakes. I have no use for them. They're also gonna come with the rotors. The pads are still good. However, and it's just the rears only. However, if you want to ship, I can ship the calipers, but I don't want to ship the rotors because they're so heavy. DM me on Instagram or TikTok. Just give me a good offer. Just want to get rid of them. These are the brackets I mounted the hub. Or the rear knuckle, I guess is the correct word for it. I think they're about 7 or 8 millimeters thick, so we'll have to run these 10 millimeter spacers on the axles to pick up the slack so the axles don't snap. And then also I got this mounting plate. This goes around the shifter. Shifter's right here, and then I'll have to drill 2 holes probably to mount the hydro e-brake, which will go on here. Comes with some new hardware, since these will require an extra 7 or 8 millimeters, so the bolts will have to be longer than the stock ones. And then these are the steel braided lines for the hydro e-brake to go all the way to the back of the car to the rear calipers. So this is everything you need, plus the hydro e-brake and another set of calipers and another set of brake pads. At Winter Jam, I bapped a 3-foot tall cone pretty good right here. Fiberglass didn't crack. but it left a pretty good mark. We'll have to probably try to, I don't know, maybe buff that out or just rewrap it. Status update. So I pulled the hub out with the wheel bearing. This is the e-brake assembly. So I've got to remove the e-brake cable and then pull this whole e-brake assembly out. And then I can slap on the dual caliper bracket. So the idea is something like this. Alright, so I got the pesky e-brake setup removed. Dropped it and all these parts fell all over the place. We'll figure that out later. But now we can mount this flushly and smoothly against the rear knuckle. So this is the plate. It's kind of offset a little bit, so I might have to run some spacers here to make it the same, like the same distance coming out from the knuckle. Okay, now I got the drum brake set up back around it. You could see here's a dual caliper setup. Fits right behind there. Now I just gotta start throwing everything back together. Okay, so while I have the hub pulled off, I'm gonna swap out the lug studs. That way I can run a thicker spacer and not worry about not having enough threads. So you just put a lug nut on the end of these to protect the threads, and then you just smack it with the hammer and smack them out while it's on the car, of course. But I already hammered these out, so I'm gonna take these out. And these longer ones, you can see the difference there. You versus the guy that she says not to worry about. Much longer studs. There we go. Boom, much better. I could run really big spacers and not worry about running out of thread. Alright, got it all put back together. Still loose, I just got to pull them through with the lug nuts. But looking way better. Okay, so next I've got the axle. We got to put the axle back in. However, we need to install this axle spacer. See, it's a 10mm made by FDF. And how it works is there's a lip right here. So the indented side goes on the axle. And this side has a raised lip, which will go over there into the diff. And the reasoning for this is, since we installed this plate for the dual caliper mount, right? This plate is about 7mm thick. So we gotta compensate for that. This is 10mm, and then when you lower your car, you kind of bend the axle and extend it. So 10mm should hopefully make up for that plus any amount from the 7 or so millimeters here. Fairly straightforward. Just throw the spacer in and bolt it into the diff.